You should've messed with me. You should've messed with me. Should've messed with me.
Hey Gooners, Goonerettes, let's talk transfers! Here we go, guys. So we have some breaking news today, which all of you lot would have probably heard by now, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Arsenal have contacted Chelsea on the possibility of signing Kai Havertz. This is a crazy one. Chelsea are demanding 70 million. And he told Chelsea he wants to leave this summer. I know Real Madrid have identified him as well as a potential replacement for Karim Benzema. But Havertz's contract expires in the next 2 years, 2025. And he's told Chelsea about his desire to leave. Obviously, Chelsea want to recoup as much funds as possible after spending 600 million on players last year. But Kai Havertz has already revealed his best position to Arsenal fans as they made contact over the talks. Many are still unsure what Havertz's best position is. And with many sections of Arsenal fan base questioning where he fits in and why would he want to join, well, Kai Havertz himself said, of course, sometimes it's good to play in different positions and sometimes it's bad. But in general, I'm an offensive player. I like to be in the box. I like to score goals. I like to arrive in the box often, and I don't care if I'm there as a number 9 or a number 10. If I'm in the box, I'm there to score goals, and that's it. So you can see from the player and what he's talking about, they've realistically got him in to be like a false 9 or something like that. So I'm sure Arteta knows what he's doing, but guys, 70 million. And apparently Arsenal are going in there with a 60 million bid, so they're still going to low blow Chelsea. But Chelsea are just going to try and see if they can maximise the money. They rejected a £40 million for Mason Mount today from Man United. So that tells you that Chelsea really, really want to stick to their guns. Because, look, they're being investigated for FFP. And we know that they've got to recuperate some of the costs. So they're looking to raise at least 250 million. So there's a lot of players, man. Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Gallagher. There's a ton of players that are trying to leave there. So... look, I'm not happy with this one, guys. You go into a transfer window and Havertz is your guy. Look, no disrespect to him. He won them a Champions League. And make no mistake, guys, he's a decent player. So maybe Arteta and Edu are seeing something that I can't see. But just not for the price. That's my issue here. My issue is you're literally, by giving them 60, 70 million, you're funding Chelsea buying Caicedo. That's what you're essentially doing. You're funding that whole deal. So from that perspective, yeah, I'm not sure. It's something that I wouldn't do. It's too early in the transfer window for that. And quite frankly, as I said, Madrid are probably the only team in for him. For a player like that, nah, I'm not sure. That's too much money for me. But the big news, guys, let's talk about the big news on the cover today, is that Arsenal have made an opening to sign Declan Rice from West Ham. I know Tim Lewis, Arsenal's second big man outside of Josh, he's been talking with Edu and Richard Garlick to now try and get this all sorted. Now, personal terms is already done. And West Ham, quite frankly, I feel that they would be a little bit disappointed by that because they talked about all along them wanting 120 million and then they may take less. Arsenal, on the other hand, have gone in there with 80 million. So that's 40 million below West Ham's asking price. And it was rejected straight away. Now, look, man, Arsenal have been burnt by the Pepe experience. So they know how this works. And they also are thinking to themselves, is this the right deal? Plus, they've got other targets to get. You know, money's got to be available to hit those other targets, right? So the wise man said, I remember when James Maddison... Leicester was talking about 70 million, and I said Arsenal need to go and buy a collective of players with that money. And guess what? They did. They bought Ramsdale, Odegaard, and Tomiyasu with 70 million. So it makes you understand that the powers of the many defeat the powers of the one. And in this instance, West Ham want 120 million for this player. For that money, Arsenal could buy Paulinho from Fulham for 50 million and Caicedo from Brighton for 70 million. That's how much they can bring in two quality players for the price that West Ham are asking for Declan Rice. So nobody in the league or Europe would be paying 120 million for Declan Rice. Let's let's not get that twisted. Nobody is going to be paying that kind of money. And look, Bellingham went for 120 million with add-ons. So West Ham feel they've got a right to ask for the going rate. But like I said, on the flip side of that, Alexis McAllister went to Liverpool for just £35, raising to 55 million. So, and Declan Rice will be in excess of 100 million. Both are 24 years old, and McAllister had 2 years left on his contract too. So none of it really makes any sense monetarily. But then McAllister did have a release clause at 35 million. The only flip side about it, guys, the dark horse in all of this is that Manchester City need to replace Gundogan in the midfield. So everyone's understanding there's a gentleman's agreement that's already gone far because personal terms have done with Declan Rice and Arsenal. So a lot of these teams like City and everyone else and Chelsea have taken a backseat because they understand that the player's first choice is to go to Arsenal. He wants to stay in London, tick. He wants to play in the Champions League, tick. And obviously he wants to get paid. But getting paid isn't really the most important part here because he can make money anyway. He turned down 200,000 a week at West Ham. So he's going to get paid money. But for Man City, they're sitting on the perch, waiting to see if this breaks down. So don't be surprised if West Ham get a call from Manchester City if it doesn't work out with Arsenal. That's my only gripe, guys. That's my only issue. But outside of that, it's a strange one because I was talking to the guys today about the transfers and you know you've done well, Arsenal. You've tied up your young guns to extensions and now you're on the ball. This is the first day of the transfer window. You're not leaving at lastminute.com. You're the first on the ball with an offer. So I think there's a lot of positives to take from this in that Arsenal are not wasting any time. They're not messing around. But the lowballing of the money, that's to be expected. Because like I said, he's hot commodity, Declan Rice. But who else is going to be in there to pay that kind of money? Will Man City pay 120 million? Will Chelsea pay? Chelsea are desperate to offload players so they can earn money to get Caicedo. So are they going to pull out 120 million for Declan Rice right now? I'm not sure, guys. I'm really not sure. So I think Arsenal are looking at this thinking, we got this in the bag. West Ham will lower their demands because the player has obviously made a gentleman's agreement with West Ham. So Arsenal are using that to their advantage. They're using the whole thing where, look, we can lowball these guys because everything's in our favour. Personal terms done. Player wants to come here. And West Ham have already said, Sullivan said, you can go. You can leave this summer. So West Ham doing business with Arsenal is all really going to come down to that dragging out. And then the player's going to get frustrated. And I'm sure that he's going to have words with West Ham and saying, guys, what's going on here? We're supposed to be getting these deals done. Please lower the amount so I can go to Arsenal. And I think that that's what Arsenal are going to be banking on. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Peace out, guys.
Go stupid, go stupid.